Hey everybody, Jake here for American Muscle, and in this video we're taking a look at the Borla Attack Catback exhaust system with the quad black chrome tips, fitting 2024 and newer Mustang GT fastbacks without the factory active exhaust. This is going to be a perfect choice for the S650 GT owner who wants excellent sound, great build quality, and some aggressive good looks to go along with it all. This particular iteration of Borla's popular Attack series catback combines some of the best build quality and material quality you can get with a truly awesome noise. This really is a great choice for the Mustang owner who wants a little bit of everything from their exhaust. However, make no mistake, this one is going to be loud. On our loudness meter, in fact, this one is going to be right at the top with a 5 out of 5. Definitely a big difference in the experience of driving your car. It's no secret that Borla makes some of the best exhausts you can get, especially when it comes to how they sound. The Attack series is of course the loudest of the bunch, and like you heard in the clips at the start of the video, you're getting a really loud, deep, burbly, aggressive, and race car inspired note on the outside. Truly, this is a great sound. And part of that is due to the fact that this is a full 3-inch catback exhaust, so it is going to be a larger diameter than your factory system. But it's going to keep your factory cats in place, so it will sound great and it'll still be street legal. Now, let's be honest, making the Coyote V8 sound good is really not a hard thing to do. But what is more difficult is balancing a good sound profile and volume in a way that's not going to make your ears bleed. And that is where Borla does things better than most. They pack in a number of things to make this system more than just loud. It's actually quite pleasing, and there's absolutely zero drone at any speed, in any gear, at any RPM, and that's what Borla has claimed for a while. Now, the first thing they include is an X-pipe. Now, this is going to help eliminate drone by allowing your exhaust gas pulses to cross over and intermingle. So again, you don't get that horrible drone. The X-pipe also has another big benefit, and that is a power increase. Since this allows crossover, it's going to help with exhaust gas scavenging, so it can pull those gases through the system. Basically, it's going to allow for a lot better flow, especially at the top end of the rev range, because it's going to allow for that nice smooth crossover. And as you Coyote owners know, up high in the rev range is really where these engines thrive. So you're going to get a bit more power as well. But there's even more stuff that Borla has baked in, and part of it is right there in the name. So the Attack ATAK stands for Acoustically Tuned Applied Kinetics. That's a Borla exclusive technology. Basically, it means that they tune each application for a specific vehicle. Now, this system also utilizes Borla's patented polyphonic harmonizing technology, which is again going to help eliminate drone. And I do mean eliminate. This is not something that simply takes the edge off it. Between this, the X-pipe, and these, well, we'll call them mufflers, but they're really just kind of big old resonators here. All those three things combined just gets rid of the drone. So that polyphonic harmonizing technology is essentially the same type of science that goes into tuning pipe organs or wind instruments. So what they do is they utilize different lengths of pipe to control different frequencies, so it's going to eliminate obtrusive or dissonant sounds that cause drone. In this system, they're right here in these little canisters, right before the mufflers. So there are some trick bits contained in here, including different sizes and diameters of piping, perforated tube-shaped cores, and different patterns within those pipes too, to make the frequencies harmonize. So you still get the excellent flow and that really nice sound and volume that you want, but with zero drone. So even though this is going to be a lot louder inside of the cabin, you're actually going to be able to enjoy it even on a longer road trip. You're probably going to need to turn up the volume on your favorite song, but when an exhaust sounds this good, I think that's a small price to pay, especially since you don't get that drone. Now, of course, we have to talk about the tips as well, and that is where this system differs from some of the other ones for these cars. These are 4-inch dual black chrome tips, and they look similar to the ones you'd find on either an active exhaust car or the S550 GT. Personally, I am a big fan of this staggered slash-cut look. It may not seem like a big thing, but it makes a pretty significant visual update on the rear end of the car. You will, however, in order to get these fitted, need the OEM Ford dual tip valance. We do have that available on our site too, so you can grab that, get everything you need ready to go, so you can make the install as simple as possible. And again, that valance is a pretty easy installation, and in my book, the extra effort is definitely worth it for the look. As far as construction goes, this is a really high quality system. Borla makes all of their exhausts out of T304 stainless steel, so you're going to get excellent corrosion and rust resistance here. Everything is made from T304, the flanges back to the tips, the X-pipe, all of it. So it's about as good a quality as you're going to find anywhere. As you can see, it's just a nice looking exhaust. The piping is again 3-inch mandrel bent tubing all the way through, so there's no wrinkles, no restrictions, or weird creases in the system, which means again, everything is gonna flow nice and smoothly through. Your engine can breathe better than stock, and it's gonna help reduce back pressure, which means better sound and a little bit more power for you. Pricing for this system will come in at around $2,200, and that's not what you describe as inexpensive. This will put it at the top end of the category when it comes to price for exhaust for this gen of Mustang, but I think the quality and sound are more than worth it. If you want something that's gonna sound good, last you a long time, and look cool as well, this is an excellent choice. Installation will come in at a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should expect it to take you around 3 hours to get everything done. Now this is again designed to be a full bolt-on installation, so it's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations. There's no permanent modifications needed to get this fitted. However, again, I will say you are going to need that dual tip rear valance in order to get this fitted properly, so we're building in an extra hour's worth of time here. All that said though, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the process.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 3/8 extension, a 15 and 13 millimeter swivel socket, a hammer, exhaust hanger tool, and a pry bar. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Mustang. Now we will be going to a quad tip exhaust. As you can see, our factory exhaust is a single tip, and so is our factory diffuser. We did install a MP Concepts Dark Horse style rear diffuser to fit our new quad exhaust. So now we're gonna watch a quick video how to install a stock one, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
So the first thing we're going to do is come to the double flange behind our cat. We have 4 15 millimeter bolts that we can loosen up with a 15 millimeter socket. Now we're going to leave this just like that for now as we work on the rest. One thing to keep in mind is when we go to pull this off, this little hook is keeping this on, so you're gonna have to get a flathead screwdriver to pull back on that on both sides when we go to remove it. Next, we can come right behind our rear diff to this hanger. There's one on each side of this bracket. There's a 13 millimeter bolt holding it on. So I've got a 13 millimeter swivel socket on an extension to pop this off. And now we'll just come to the other side and do the same exact thing. And now with them both removed, you can push up to get those hangers off the hooks. And do that same thing on the other side. Now, last thing we need to do before we can remove this is remove these 2 bolts that were on the inside of those 2 hangers behind the rear diff. So I'm using that same 13 millimeter socket with an extension. Now with those removed, we can push it up off the hook and pull that down to get the clearance we need. So now I've got myself a buddy to support the weight of the rear of the exhaust while I work on the front. We're gonna push this towards the rear to disconnect these 2 pipes, and then we can pull it forward to pull it out of the back hangers. So now with our exhaust removed, we can take an exhaust hanger remover tool to pop off these 2 hangers because we will have to reuse them for our new exhaust. Now, last thing we need to pop off is our 2 clamps that are at the front of the exhaust. You can take a rubber mallet and get the edge of a pry bar on the edge of the clamp to tap these off.
So we're going to start up here at our front pipes. As you can see, we already have one of our factory clamps back on. We're just going to slide the other one on. Just make sure you line up the locking tab. Now we're going to put our adapter pipes in. So they just slide into our factory clamps. Just like that. And then next we have our X pipe. Now we're going to put 2 of our clamps over first. All of our clamps are the same size, so it doesn't matter. And then slide that right into our front adapter pipes. All right, now we can get our axle pipe on. Now we have our axle pipe. You see I do have one of our clamps slipped all the way on, and then we're just gonna put our factory hanger over the hanger on the exhaust here. I'm gonna slide that into our X pipe. We can bring that up and just hook that up on the subframe to hold it up out of the way. Now we just have our muffler section. We have our clamp slipped on already. So slide that into our hanger first. And then line everything up and slide that into our axle pipe. Now we're gonna leave everything loose. You can go ahead and do the same thing for the other axle pipe and muffler, and we'll come back and tighten everything down. Now we're gonna come back to our two hangers and then our bracket here. We're just gonna thread in our bolts. Get them started. We're gonna grab our impact with an extension and 13mm swivel and tighten all those down. So now we're gonna come back to our front and tighten everything down. One thing you just want to make sure that the X pipe is level. We'll start by tightening our two factory clamps down. All these clamps are 15mm sockets, so we're going to grab our impact and 15, tighten those down. And we have our two clamps for our adapter pipes. Now we have these two at the back of our X pipe. We'll tighten those down. And we just have our clamps and our mufflers left. Now we just have our clamp for our muffler. Tighten that down. You may need to adjust it just to get the right angle. Once you have this one all tight, you can go ahead and repeat the same thing for the other muffler. And that wraps up our install of our Borla Attack catback exhaust with quad black chrome tips for our 2024 newer Mustang GT Fastback without active exhaust. And remember, for everything Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.